What if I told you that a brilliant ancient system for understanding the human body, one that's thousands of years old, is facing an existential crisis? Not 100 years ago, but right now in 2025. Its core language is dying out, and its wisdom is literally getting lost in translation. Today, we're diving into the radical plan designed to save it. And that brings us to this quote. And wow, it just hits you, doesn't it? It comes from a practitioner on the front lines, and it perfectly captures the heart of this crisis. See, this isn't just about some attack from the outside. It's a crisis of confidence from within, a feeling that traditional Chinese medicine, what we call TCM, has completely lost its footing in the modern world. And if you think that's just a feeling, get ready for this number. In 2023, less than 30% of TCM consultations, less than a third, actually used the full traditional diagnostic methods that are the bedrock of the entire system. It's being pushed into a corner, treated like a side dish, and its core techniques are just fading away. The language isn't just dying. In many ways, it's being abandoned. And this slide right here shows you exactly why. It's a full-blown language crisis. You know, a Western doctor sees the lab results, looks at the chart and says, viral pneumonia. But the TCM practitioner sees a dynamic pattern, something like wind-warmth invading the lungs. Now, not only does Western medicine not get that language, insurance companies definitely won't pay for it. And what's even crazier is that different schools within TCM often use conflicting terms. It's like a modern-day Tower of Babel. So that's our first big section. We're going to explore this fundamental problem. And let's be clear, this isn't about questioning if the medicine works. It's about a total breakdown in communication, a failure of its language to survive in a world that runs on data, on standardization, and on insurance billing codes. Okay, so to really understand what's at stake, what we're about to lose, we have to look at where it all came from. The history of TCM isn't some straight line of ever-increasing complexity. Actually, it's the opposite. It's a story about a brilliant, simple blueprint that somehow got buried under centuries of debates and disagreements. This timeline is absolutely fascinating. You can see that at its peak, TCM was all about elegant simplification. Zhang Zhangjing's 6 stages was a total masterpiece. It was like a dynamic 3D hologram for mapping a disease's entire journey. But then, look what happens. For the next 1,000+ years, it just splinters into a dozen competing schools. The attempt in the 1930s to create the 8 principles was really the first big effort to get back to that original clear-headed spirit. And that brings us to the big turning point. After all these centuries of growing complexity, the solution now on the table is, well, it's pretty radical. It involves taking a philosophical tool from 14th century Europe and using it to perform some serious precision surgery on this ancient medical art. And that tool is Occam's razor. You've probably heard of it. The idea is simple. Stop making things more complicated than they need to be. When you have a bunch of competing explanations, the simplest one is usually the right one. For TCM's language problem, which is just bloated with redundant and conflicting jargon, this razor is the perfect instrument to just cut away all the noise and get back to the essential signal. So here's how that razor actually gets put to use. It's a 3-step method that brings back a logical order. First, you take the macro view. You start with the big picture, yin or yang. Then, you move to the meso view to track the dynamics. Is the condition heating up or is it cooling down? And finally, you have the micro view, which pinpoints the exact target for treatment. It can even translate Western lab data right into the system. What I love about this slide is how it visualizes the whole thing like a tree. The macro view, that's the root system. It anchors the whole diagnosis. The meso view is the trunk, tracking how the disease is moving and changing. And the micro view, those are the branches, leading you to a precise, targeted plan of action. It's a beautiful return to that original, logical simplicity. But here's the real genius of it. This new method isn't just about cleaning up TCM for its own sake. The true brilliance is how it manages to integrate the unique strengths of both traditional Chinese and Western medicine. And this slide just nails the philosophy behind it all. Think of Western medicine as a high-resolution screenshot. It captures a single static moment, a blood test, a CT scan, with incredible precision. TCM, on the other hand, sees health as a flowing river. It's amazing at understanding the process, how one state transforms into the next over time. The goal isn't to pick one, it's to use both. So the crucial point is this. We move away from vague, almost poetic descriptions to a standardized set of building blocks. Instead of hundreds of confusing terms, the system boils it all down to just 8 core patterns. Things like chi deficiency, where the body lacks energy, or blazing heat, which might line up with severe inflammation. These patterns can be objectively measured and combined to describe any condition, creating a reliable bridge between that Western screenshot and the TCM flowing river. But listen, a brilliant idea is just an idea without a plan. And this isn't just theory. There is a concrete, achievable plan in place. This is the blueprint for the revival of an entire field of medicine. And the roadmap is really ambitious and tech-forward. It kicks off by quantifying diagnostics with AI-powered tools to create objective, repeatable data. No more guesswork. From there, it's all about building hard evidence through huge clinical trials. And the final step? To integrate all that data into a sophisticated AI, basically a TCM GPT, that can act as a powerful support tool in the clinic. And that brings us to the final cut. This isn't just a simple summary of a new idea, it's a manifesto. It's a direct challenge, really, to a whole new generation of practitioners. The final message is as sharp as Occam's razor itself. Stop kneeling and begging for legitimacy. Start cutting. Use this clear, logical, and evidence-based tool to cut right through the confusion and prove the value of this ancient wisdom in the modern world, and on modern terms. So the plan is out there, the tools are ready. It really represents a choice: fade away into history or reclaim a seat at the table of 21st century medicine. The blade is unsheathed. The real question for all of us is, what happens next?